Hello and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today I am going to answer a question that I have gotten quite a bit recently, most recently from my viewer Alpha Omega, so thank you for asking the question, and that is, can you reuse soil? So yes, you can reuse potting soil. There are a few caveats to that I'm going to talk about right now, and talk about how best to go about the process of reusing soil. First of all, I would not reuse soil that has been longer than 5 years in use. At that point, it's just going to be very high in salts, and I do have a video on the problems with salty soil. I'll put a link below. And it's pretty much worn out by that point. The structure is worn out. So at that point, I would throw it away. 3 to 5 years in there, depending on the plant, depending on how the soil looks, that's when I would start considering throwing away. However, prior to that, yes, you can reuse soil. It could be that a plant didn't make it, which is sad, but you know, it happens, right? Or it could be that you buy a plant from a big box nursery, garden supply, something like that, and you find out, oh geez, the plant is in way too big of a pot, so I have some extra soil. Can I reuse that soil? So yes, you can. So whatever the circumstance is, about from 1 to 3 years or less than that to 3-year-old soil, yes, you can go ahead and reuse it for sure. A few things though, if a plant has been growing in that soil that has root rot, you definitely don't want to use the soil. Get rid of the soil. Actually put the soil in a bag, tie it, seal it up really good, and get rid of it, because there could be fungal spores in it. If the plant has been had a lot of pests and diseases, especially things like scale and mealybugs, definitely want to replace, just throw that soil away. Other than that though, if the plant, you say you've been growing plants fine in this soil, or you're repotting into another pot and adding new soil, yes, you can reuse the soil. I would, however, add some amendments to the soil so that you make it as fertile of a soil as possible. So here I have some soil here, some used soil, show you there. And this, there was a plant that I repotted into another pot, actually a smaller pot because it was in way too big of a pot. And I have this excess soil. So I'm going to reuse it, putting it in here, and I'm going to mix in some things into this. It's also very dry. As I talk about, you want to repot. If I'm going to go ahead and reuse this to repot, I want to moisten this soil so that when I repot, the plant doesn't sink in the pot. So I'm going to break it up some. And usually you're going to be when you're reusing soil, you're going to be repotting something. So break it up like this, so we don't have big clumps in there. And if there is any pieces of bark or anything in there, this is not a real barky soil, but pull out the big chunks of stuff. Then I would suggest adding some amendments. One of those really good amendment is worm compost. I have lots of videos on wonders of worm compost. I'm going to add a little bit of that in there. Also, I just did a video on the wonders of rock dust, which gives you micronutrients, as does the worm compost. So I'm going to add a little bit of that in there. And also, you want to make sure if the soil looks like it doesn't have quite enough pumice, but this one does. You can see a lot of the pumice in there, but if it was real light on pumice, I would add some pumice. And I do have a pumice product. Oh, yeah, I have a hard time with that. Okay, so there, so you could add the pumice if you feel like it's just way too heavy. Otherwise, then just go ahead and leave it as is. I'm not going to add pumice, as I mentioned. Here's a piece of bark. It's kind of big. It's a wood chip that made its way in, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then you also want to add some fertilizer. So I do have my Green Gourmet houseplant food here, and I'll put a link below so you can purchase. And I'm going to add a little bit of that. You want to follow package directions. It's about a tablespoon for this amount here, or a little less than that. So I'm going to do about actually half a tablespoon. Mix that in. So now really what we've created here is a whole new, old houseplant soil. Because soils are expensive, and this is a really good way to extend the life of your soil. When you're done, like I said, before using it, go ahead and add some water to it, moisten it up before you go and use it. And you'll find a lot of soils, when they've been sitting around for quite a while, especially indoors, they get dried up pretty quick. And I do have videos on how moist to get them and that sort of thing too. But now you can see we have some really nice used soil, which is all ready to be used in another plant now. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.